It was a collector's dream, an old bottling plant filled with thousands of dollars worth of soda memorabilia. Converting it into a home was no easy task, but when the secrets of its bubbly past began to pop, the new owners were definitely refreshed by their results. The mystery of this Greenville, Texas factory began with a tornado.
Originally, we just wanted to say that we never thought about living here.
To rescue the damaged building from bulldozers, Alice and Carl Reese bought it. And, as crazy as it seems, they turned the 3,500 square foot place into a spectacular home, preserving details like the factory's original tin ceilings. Features like that are part of the factory's Art Deco design. And that was part of its secret past. Who would have taken such pride in a factory? And what did they make here? While cleaning it out, some mysterious objects began to emerge, like a monstrous contraption in what's now their living room.
It was just a huge machine. It sat right over where the wall is, and it was like 20 feet long.
When they finally got rid of the beast, they uncovered a big clue about the factory's past.
After we moved the machine out of the way, well, lo and behold, we've got a find.
An antique Dr. Pepper floor medallion. Alice and Carl had no idea that this was just the beginning of the valuable collectibles hiding on the property. But first, there were more mysterious machines to deal with in the backyard.
I don't know how much the thing weighs. It probably weighs 500 pounds, and with the cement bottom on it.
Some people call it yard art.
Some of that yard art was kind of strange.
This is a crazy looking machine. It's been sitting on this corner for a long time because it probably weighs 1,000 pounds.
A neighbor helped identify it.
Somebody came by one day and I said, well, we're trying to figure out what this is, you know, and they said, well, that's a tilter.
Of course, a tilter. You know, the old-fashioned machine that turns bottles full of soda pop to mix up the ingredients. Aha! Was this place once a bottling plant? The clues were adding up.
And there were 8 of these, and they covered all the windows. So this guy here is still covering the window. It's not pristine, but it's real good shape.
And while exploring the garage, Carl made a refreshing discovery.
I found this case of Dr. Pepper's in a corner.
Incredibly, the 1960s soda bottles were unopened.
I think after 40 years, I don't know that I'd want to taste it. It's got fizzy in it. It might still be good.
Through research, they also got to the bottom of the history of their home. It was a Dr. Pepper bottling plant founded by Mr. and Mrs. R.B. Williams in 1937.
They ran it until 1969 when everybody had gotten away from bottles and were going into cans.
They also found photos that showed the old factory in action.
The old manager's son came by with some photographs, and it shows his dad sitting at one of the machines watching the bottles go by, and as you start looking around, you find different machines in the picture. Like this guy here was just something that made carbonated water, I guess.
And that giant contraption in the living room was a bottle washer.
They'd wash the bottles and feed them around and come down here, and they would go off. They would be filled by the time they got to the end, and then go out to the back in cases.
The Reeses were also surprised to learn who really wore the pants at this plant.
Mrs. R.B. Williams, Jessie, had her office right here, and she was here on a day-to-day basis.
A woman running a factory was pretty unusual in 1937.
From what I've heard about her, she was quite a lady and an assertive person who had, you know, all men working for her.
Also unusual was the elaborate architecture. From newspaper ads, Alice could tell the Williams family took great pride in the place, and so did the town.
This was one of the premier businesses in Greenville at that time.
The most incredible thing the Reeses have learned about their place is that all the stuff they found in their garage is valuable. At least according to the experts they met at a soda collectors convention. And to think they saved it from the wrecking ball.
They were going to bulldoze everything and put it in a big dumpster.
And their favorite item is the first medallion they found.
This is an unusual collectible because it is different. Nobody else has this kind of thing that came out of a floor in a factory. So.
Yeah, that's a one of a kind.
Their house is one of a kind too. And even after 18 years, there's still plenty to learn.